I've been thinking a lot because I was having a conversation with a Notre Dame fan over the weekend, and
it's very Catholic of you.
They brought up, not really. I mean, although the person that we were talking about did convert to Catholicism famously, Marcus Freeman, shout out. It's actually really hard to convert to Catholicism as an adult.
It is very
There's
difficult.
like a lot going on.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty big time commitment.
And you know what's hilarious is, so I grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do half the things that they did.
That's what I mean.
That's
like if you just like go through the paces, like when you're age appropriate, however they've got it like determined out, it's much, much easier.
Yeah. And they're cool with it.
If you do it as an adult, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine went through it and is like, no, it's extensive.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Catholics believe in detoxing you.
Well, you got to, you know.
Got to get that bad stuff out of your system.
Got to get all that sin out of your blood. No, but I was talking to this guy and he brought up Marcus Freeman. He's like, yeah, Marcus Freeman has made Notre Dame likable again. And I think that's largely true. I still think people are like, oh man, I hate Notre Dame, but that Marcus Freeman, hard not to root for. Right?
Yeah.
And so that actually got me to thinking about Brian Kelly, who's the exact opposite of that, who could go to your favorite school and you kind of be like, I don't love it. He's a good football coach. I hope we win still. He's a very Jimbo Fisher type figure where you're like, good at his job, I think still, although Jimbo famously not. And then, but the first time he starts to lose at all, this guy can F off because I hate his face. And so it got me thinking about the least likable coaches in college football. And I got to be honest, I'm having a hard time coming up with a name worse than Brian Kelly.
It depends on your moral value. Hugh Freeze could be up there.
Oh, Hugh Freeze is very unlikable. Yeah, because he's very listen. If you want to call prostitutes from your university cell phone and they're cool with it, like who am I to judge? But
725 first prostitute drop of the day.
Honestly, of the week, I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm doing really good. It's Thursday already. Listen, if you're cool with it, the AD's cool with it, the university's like, oh, we'll foot that bill. Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
But then if you're going to be all judgy and holier than now, like, spare me, sir. Like, I'm out.
And
so
have you seen the rumors now?
The
dude just loves golf. He's just out golfing all the time.
Yeah. I thought that end of that sentence was going to end very differently.
No.
Have you seen the rumors now? Dude just loves ... right after we were talking about him calling prostitutes. I had no idea where that was going to go.
If you go from prostitutes to golf, you're probably actually on the right track, right?
Maybe he's upgrading vices to less detrimental things,
right?
You know,
but maybe. I think Hugh Freeze would be in the next pick. I know he's not a head coach. He might be a coordinator. So I might have to look. Is Bobby Petrino still hanging around? People hate Bobby.
I think
Petrino.
He's an OC now. I believe he's an OC somewhere. Bobby Petrino's pretty unlikable. I personally very much dislike Dabo Sweeney, but not to the degree of Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly. Trying to think. Okay, so what in Big Ten? Is there anyone in the Big? Oh, PJ Fleck. I think people are more annoyed by PJ Fleck. Yes.
I don't know if they straight up just hate him.
I don't think so. You know what's funny? So Amazing Daniel says Deion. As much as I dislike Deion, I think I like Brian Kelly less. I don't know.
I actually kind of agree with that too.
And I mean, you know me, I've got no love for Deion.
There's a part of me, even in the first two seasons, especially that 4-8 season for whatever reason, even after they beat Nebraska, there was a part of me that was kind of okay with where Deion was going because it was somewhat polarizing. And even if you didn't agree with it, he definitely got the views and watched it, right?
So the thing that bothers me is he's enormously full of it.
Yes.
Like, I think he's very hypocritical. I think he is super torn between, I do think there's a part of him that genuinely wants to do the right thing. And then there's a part of him that wants to just be famous and do Deion stuff. And I think he thinks that can coexist at the same time. And a lot of times it can't. And so he does things that really bother me, like cutting kids on camera and stuff like that.
Yeah,
not a fan. Like,
that's fair. That's fair.
Totally out on that.
You know who I don't... This is going to be a simmering take.
Okay.
But I think we're not too far away from Dan Lanning maybe getting into the conversation of people being annoyed with him. Yeah. Well, okay, so go through this past summer.
Okay.
He did the whole he did the whole like pool jumping thing, and then the kid decommitted from Oregon right away.
Hilarious.
People were like, that's a bit weird. That's a bit odd to do that.
I didn't mind it, but okay.
He's also not necessarily the born on third base, right, type of conversation because Oregon did get better under his time, but then we're creeping closer and closer into a conversation of what have you done past a certain point.
I would say he was the courtesy runner in extra innings on second.
I'd agree.
Like
I'd take
he inherited a good situation. Cristobal did a lot of the heavy lifting. Like he didn't win at a super high level because he wasn't there for a long time. But Cristobal did a lot of the heavy lifting to kind of course correct for Oregon after.
And Lanning has kept that level of success going.
Yes.
But he hasn't.
It's not quite Ryan Day where it's like, hey, not only were you born on third, you were born like halfway to home. And listen, he's done a really good job and he's elevated that program. But I think that's a different situation. Lanning doesn't bother me.
But see, I think that there's going to come a point too, because even that Colorado game from a couple years ago, we play on the grass, we don't play for clicks, like all that sort of stuff, and we play for wins, and all of his locker room speeches and all that. That's all great in the moment when you're young and you're a building program and people like to see the rise of a team and what people would call a national brand in Oregon as well.
Yeah.
But when it happens all the time and you're going to continue to fall flat and you haven't been able to get into a Final Four, into the national semifinals for the college football playoff, I think people might get annoyed with the shtick eventually, and they might turn that tide.
We've got a lot of Kurt Signettis in the chat.
I disagree with that. I think he's annoying to you in the moment. I think it's a little PJ Flecky, right? He's annoying to you in the moment.
He pisses me off more than PJ Fleck does.
Oh,
he does.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just because how the game went last year. Do you see it as a different shtick? I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's super arrogant, which listen, if he keeps winning, you can do whatever you want.
I think they're front of the boat coaches. They want everyone to see that they're in charge leading from the front, that they're the ones
George
pointing.
Washington crossing the Delaware.
Whereas comparatively, I think coaches like Matt Rule would be like, I'm letting my guys get out in front. And I want you guys to take the credit and be a part of that. And I'm back here. And I want to be able to help with all the background stuff. And I'm
more like a boiler room guy, like fueling the fire.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I can kind of get that. Yeah, Signetti does piss me off almost every time he opens his mouth. Not like to a Dan Hurley level, but Signetti does make me mad. I don't know that I hate him, but he angers me a lot.
Yeah, and if you were to take a guess as to who's probably going to have the most viral quotes next week, it's probably going to be Sig.
Yeah, because he's going to come up with something like, oh, nobody believes in us and blah, 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 and whatever. And I don't know. If he can build a sustained winner at Indiana, I'll eat it. That's fine.
Amazing Daniel also has Kiffin is pretty much love or hate. Are you love or hate?
Oh, I love Kiffin.
I love Kiffin too.
I love Kiffin. That is a all-timer.
Yeah. I think that it's actually changed more. There's more love than hate on Kiffin now. But the people who hate Kiffin absolutely hate him.
Mostly the University of Tennessee. The University of Tennessee hates Lane Kiffin. I do think the hate proportion is much smaller than it used to be. Who else do we have in here? People brought up some
I'm trying to think of, older coaches. I think people were tired of the Pete Carroll shtick when he was at USC. That's kind of the first one that comes up with.
Oh, Pete Carroll never bothered me.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's genuinely who he is, because he's like in his mid 70s almost. Yeah. He's still like that. And he was like that in the NFL, which is why people didn't think it would work in the NFL. Like, I think that's just who he is.
Prior to the sign stealing scandal and all that stuff, Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh was in the same Kiffin category, where some people absolutely loved it and they were like, pure football guy, I love him to death, or they absolutely hated it and they thought it was just a huge ruse the entire time.
Asian Wyatt says historic versus Art Briles. Pretty fair on that one. Yeah, that's
in the Hugh Freeze category.
That's way worse than the Hugh Freeze category.
Ooh,
but
Cody can't stand Bielema. Good coach.
Oh,
I disagree. I've always liked Bert. I've never had an issue with Ola Brett.
Asian Wyatt says head coach in Varsity Blues. John Voight. Tough look for my guy, John Voight. No, I do. I don't know. So I could understand how Brett Bielema annoyed people. Yeah. Like, I could see how he comes off in a way that he's pretty abrasive.
Yeah.
I think he's really good as a coach. I like him. But I do understand, and Caden says Wisconsin version of Bert. That makes sense. I know there's some open wounds from Nebraska fans and Brett Bielema. So
but that have anything to do with Bielema, or just the way that they beat Nebraska? Was there an instance? I don't remember like any specifics that Bielema attacked Nebraska.
Not really, but think about how Bielema generally acts, and then think about how Wisconsin. Like, if somebody's saying, that's probably the reason I hate Signetti, right? If somebody talks that way, like pretty arrogant, pretty abrasive, and then go beat your head in, like, you hate that guy.
Yeah.
So I don't think there was anything specific with Bielema unless I'm forgetting something. I think it's just he's sort of an abrasive personality. And then Wisconsin was just like handing it to Nebraska on a platter. And you're like, maybe I sort of hate this dude.
Yeah. No one had really big issues with Urban Meyer, the coach, right? There's all the other stuff that comes with Urban Meyer, but Urban Meyer, the coach, I think some people made fun of him for having the false medical attacks at Florida when he was like, 7-5.
Yeah, he's like, I have a heart condition. It's called I'm heartbroken that Tim Tebow's not my quarterback anymore. I got to retire. No, I think there's people that sort of, I don't know that Urban Meyer's super hated. I mean, there are people here that were still clamoring for him to get hired before Rule did. So I don't know that I wouldn't say Urban Meyer's hated in that sense. I don't really feel like anybody hates Saban. They used to.
Yes, I think, but that was a hate for his success.
Yeah, not so much for him. And he's a little gruff, but I don't think he's not arrogantly gruff most of the time. I don't think.
To go back to like the beginning point about Brian Kelly, I can't think of a coach that's the same as Brian Kelly's level of
dislikability.
Right. And even in the sense where you mentioned it with like Marcus Freeman, that Marcus Freeman has made Notre Dame likable, which and people can root for them.
Hard to do.
Yes.
People want to hate Notre Dame.
And that's why Brian Kelly was a perfect face for Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish.
He was. I want to like LSU a little bit, and I can't because I hate Brian Kelly.
I think there are some people that probably would say, I would root for LSU, but I can't because Brian Kelly's the coach.
Yeah, I liked. I generally don't like. I really liked Ed Orgeron. I don't think he's that good of a football coach, but I love Coach O. Just his whole thing, just his essence and as a person. But so like I would root for LSU then. I was rooting for 2019 Joe Burrow, like that. I enjoyed that whole thing. I generally don't have a problem with LSU. I really, really dislike Brian Kelly. He's made a team that I kind of like unlikable. Kind of like with Jimbo Fisher, I like Florida State. It was really hard because Jimbo Fisher kind of sucks.
Was he always that way though with Florida State? I felt like there was always a somewhat semblance when you passed it over from Bowden to him that some people were still okay with it. Maybe they just didn't know the character of Jimbo at the time.
That's what it was. Is after he started having success, he became really difficult to work with.
Okay.
And especially like after the national title, he became just impossible to work with. And he got into kind of these pissing contests with the AD and the school and whatever. And they're like, you're the worst. Actually, nobody likes you. The moment you have a bad season, you're gone. And then that's what happened. He didn't actually get fired, but like he was in trouble. And then obviously, basically the same thing happened at A&M. Like that, he's just an impossible to work with human being. Whoa. Somebody's throwing Mike Leach in here. Pump the brakes.
Whoa, hold on. Hall of Famer Mike Leach?
Future Hall of Famer Mike Leach hasn't actually been inducted yet, but I love Mike Leach. Mike Leach is one of my favorite football coaches of all time. I love that dude.
Steve Spurrier quite disliked. The Florida version of Steve Spurrier people couldn't stand, but the South Carolina version I actually came to really enjoy.
A little calmer, gentler.
Then he was old ball coach the entire time,
that's
right?
True.
Yeah,
and he wasn't successful enough to really bother you. Like they won. I think they won 10 games 3 years in a row.
Was he the coach with Davian Clowney and Marcus Lattimore and those guys? Yeah.
No, they were good.
Those were fun teams,
but they weren't like winning national title, playing you in big bowl games good, so it didn't really matter.
Cody saying Billy Belichick.
Oh, I don't mind Belichick.
Well, if you're going to go ACC, it has to be Dabo.
Oh, 1,000%.
Has to be Dabo.
Dabo's the worst. Although I don't like Cristobal.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like and I don't know that much about him. I feel like I don't like how he operates.
I always, this is going to sound really bad. I always somewhat want to root for Miami just because the sport is better when Miami is good.
Is it though?
No.
See, people,
but I like the thought of it.
People say stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
People say stuff like that all the time. I think there are certain programs, teams, whatever, that the sport kind of needs to be good. I think the Big Ten needs Nebraska to be good. Like that was part of bringing them into the conference. They need Nebraska to be good. They need Oregon to stay good. They need USC to be good. Like they need some of these programs to be like benchmark programs. The ACC needs Miami to be good. I don't think college football does.
Okay. That I agree with that. I agree with that. The ACC is absolutely every year banking on Miami trying to get into a college football playoff conversation.
They need Miami, Clemson, Florida State, probably Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Either Virginia Tech or North Carolina to be good at football.
Yeah, if you're talking top 4 teams in every single conference, that if the conference every year could say these are our top 4 teams that are always pushing for college football playoff bids, Nebraska's probably just inside of that conversation for the Big Ten, right? Because you'd always say Ohio State, you'd probably always say Michigan, Penn State, and then it's probably a mixture of Nebraska, Oregon, USC, somewhere in those. Yeah. Right? And then the SEC, I mean, we talked about this in nauseum yesterday, but it's Alabama, it's LSU, it's Florida, and then take your pick, probably Georgia. Probably fourth.
I would put Georgia ahead of Florida, honestly. I would put Georgia ahead of Florida.
Not in specific order, but yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Although you can say there's a number one, there's a clear number one in most of these conferences. It's Ohio State in the Big Ten.
It's Alabama in the SEC.
And then is it Miami or is it Florida State for the ACC?
I honestly think Miami, Florida State, and Clemson, they don't care which one. But
they just want one.
They need all three of them to be good, and they need one of them to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they care which.
Yeah,
I really don't.
It's fair. They're not picking SMU.
Probably not.
A traditional power in the ACC.
Traditional ACC power, SMU.
SMU notably on the Atlantic coast.
Oh, Greg Schiano. A lot of people dislike Greg Schiano. I don't personally.
I don't either. Yeah,
but I do know a lot of people don't like him.
Is he in the Bielema category almost?
I don't feel like he's as loud as Bielema. Like I don't know.
He's had some moments. So prior.
Yeah.
When they were very competitive. Yes.
Agent Wyatt says that one new coach at North Carolina, Jordan Hudson, I think seems dislikable.